For all things health and fitness, this is the Army Gymnastics Podcast.
The Army Gymnastics Podcast.
Discover a fitter, healthier you at armygymnastics.com.
Welcome to a deep dive into a connection.
Yeah.
That might surprise you, how the food we eat impacts our mood, anxiety, and even how our brains age. We've got a stack of fascinating research here, and we're going way beyond eat your veggies, whether you're prepping for a big presentation or just curious or maybe even struggling a bit yourself. This deep dive is designed to give you knowledge, not just information.
What's fascinating here is how much we're learning about this connection. For a long time, the idea that food could have such a profound impact on our mental well-being was met with skepticism. But now the science is catching up with what many traditional cultures have known for centuries.
Okay, so let's unpack this. First up, we've got to understand just how vital proper nutrition is for our brains. I mean, our brains are constantly working, processing information, making decisions. It's a pretty energy-intensive job.
Yeah, it's like a high-performance machine that needs the right fuel to function optimally, just like you wouldn't put cheap gas in a race car and expect peak performance, right? Your brain needs specific nutrients to thrive.
So what are some of these, essential brain-boosting nutrients? I've heard a lot about omega-3 fatty acids, but I'm curious to hear what the science actually says about their impact on mental health.
Well, there's a lot of hype around omega-3s, but the research does back it up. Studies have shown a connection between omega-3 deficiency and mood disorders, particularly depression and anxiety. In fact, there's a fascinating connection between omega-3s and the gut-brain axis.
Okay, the gut-brain axis, that's something I've been hearing a lot about lately. Can you explain what that is and how omega-3s fit into the picture?
Sure. The gut-brain axis is this incredible two-way communication highway between the gut and the brain. It turns out that up to 95% of the body's serotonin, that feel-good chemical, is actually produced in the gut, not the brain.
Wait, the gut produces serotonin. I always thought it was all about the brain.
It is, but it's synthesized in the gut. And omega-3s play a role in keeping both the gut and the brain happy. They're crucial building blocks for brain cell membranes and have powerful anti-inflammatory effects.
So a healthy gut is actually crucial for a healthy mind.
Precisely. And that's where the gut microbiome comes in. It's this vast community of trillions of microbes living in our intestines, and it's emerging as a key player in mental health.
Okay, we've heard about the gut microbiome, but what's the real deal? How can these tiny organisms possibly have such a big impact on our mood and behavior?
It might sound incredible, but the science is increasingly backing it up. In fact, some of the most compelling evidence comes from fecal transplant studies in animals.
Fecal transplants. Okay, that sounds a little intense.
Yeah.
What do those studies involve and what have they revealed?
Well, researchers transfer gut bacteria from one animal to another, for instance, from an anxious mouse to a germ-free mouse. And what's amazing is that transferring gut bacteria from an anxious mouse to a calm one can actually make the calm mouse anxious.
Wow, that's crazy. So the gut bacteria are literally transferring anxiety from one mouse to another. That's a pretty powerful demonstration of the gut-brain connection.
It is. It really highlights how much influence the gut microbiome has on behavior. And while direct evidence in humans is still emerging, small studies have found that probiotic supplements, which introduce beneficial bacteria into the gut, can lead to modest but significant reductions in depression and anxiety scores.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, taking care of our gut health can actually have a positive impact on our mental well-being.
Exactly. And one way to nurture our gut microbiome is through our diet.
Okay, that makes sense. So what are some specific foods that we should be eating to support a healthy gut microbiome?
Fermented foods are a great place to start. Yogurt with live and active cultures, kefir kombucha, kimchi sauerkraut, they're all packed with beneficial bacteria that can help diversify and balance your gut microbiome.
I've been hearing a lot about fermented foods lately. I love yogurt, but I'm not sure I'm ready for kimchi just yet. Are there any other ways to support gut health through our diet?
Yeah. Prebiotics are another key player. They're types of fiber that act as food for the beneficial bacteria in our gut.
So if probiotics are like the good guys, prebiotics are their food supply.
That's a great way to put it. And to get those prebiotics, focus on foods like garlic onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, oats, and flax seeds.
Okay, I can definitely get on board with those foods. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about those other brain-boosting nutrients we mentioned earlier, like vitamins and antioxidants. I know they're important for overall health, but how do they specifically impact our mental well-being?
Okay, Think of vitamins and antioxidants as the brain's essential maintenance crew. They help ensure everything is running smoothly, protecting those delicate brain cells from damage and inflammation. And when it comes to mental health, vitamin D and B vitamins are particularly noteworthy.
I've heard a lot about vitamin D lately, especially its connection to mood. What's the science behind that?
Well, vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a vitamin, and it has receptors throughout the brain. Research increasingly points to its role in regulating mood and overall brain health.
So how does it actually impact our mood? I've definitely noticed feeling a bit down during those dark winter months when sunlight is scarce.
Yeah, that's a common experience, and vitamin D might be a factor. A deficiency can affect neurotransmitter production and increase the risk of depression. In fact, one study found that older adults with very low vitamin D levels had a 54% increased risk of dementia compared to those with adequate levels.
Wow, that's a significant increase in risk. So getting enough vitamin D is not just about feeling good today, it's about protecting our brains for the long haul. What are some good sources of vitamin D aside from sunlight?
Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel are excellent sources, as are egg yolks and fortified foods like milk and some cereals. But if you're concerned about your vitamin D levels, talk to your doctor about getting them checked. They might recommend taking a supplement.
That's a good reminder to check in with our healthcare providers. Now let's talk about those B vitamins. I know they're often mentioned in relation to energy and metabolism, but how do they specifically impact brain health?
Right? B vitamins like B6, B9, folate, and B12 are absolutely essential for brain metabolism and for producing those crucial neurotransmitters that affect mood and cognitive function.
So what happens if we're not getting enough B vitamins? Can a deficiency actually lead to mental health symptoms?
Absolutely. A deficiency in vitamin B12, for instance, can lead to a whole host of problems, including depression, cognitive decline, and even dementia, particularly in the elderly. And folate is crucial during pregnancy, as a deficiency can lead to serious birth defects.
It's incredible to think that something as seemingly simple as a vitamin deficiency can have such profound effects on our mental well-being.
It really is. And these are just a few examples. Research is constantly uncovering new links between specific nutrients and mental well-being. It highlights just how important it is to nourish our brains with a variety of nutrient-rich foods. Yeah, it really underscores the interconnectedness of our physical and mental health.
Okay, so we've talked about individual nutrients, but I'm curious to hear more about the bigger picture. How do overall dietary patterns impact mental health? For example, we often hear about the Mediterranean diet being good for the heart. But is there a connection to mental well-being as well?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And the research on the Mediterranean diet is quite compelling. Numerous studies have shown that individuals who adhere to a Mediterranean-style diet have significantly lower rates of depression compared to those who eat a typical Western diet.
That's interesting. Do we know why the Mediterranean diet seems to have this protective effect?
Yeah, it's likely due to the abundance of antioxidants, healthy fats, and fiber, all of which support brain function and reduce inflammation. Those adhering to a Mediterranean-style diet have a 25 to 35% lower risk of depression. That's a significant reduction.
Wow, that's a pretty big difference. So it's not just about feeling good, it's about potentially reducing the risk of developing depression in the first place. What about other traditional diets? Do they share any similarities with the Mediterranean diet in terms of their impact on mental health?
Many traditional diets, particularly those that were largely whole foods based, share some key elements with the Mediterranean diet. They tend to be high in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats, and low in processed foods and refined sugars.
So it's like those traditional cultures were intuitively eating in a way that supported their mental well-being even without the scientific knowledge we have today.
Exactly. And as countries have westernized their diets in recent decades, there has been a corresponding increase in lifestyle diseases, including mental health disorders.
That's a disturbing trend. It suggests that as we've moved away from those traditional dietary patterns, we've inadvertently compromised our mental health. What are some of the key differences between the Mediterranean diet and the typical Western diet that might explain this trend?
Well, the Western diet is characterized by its high intake of processed foods, refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and red meat, while the Mediterranean diet emphasizes whole, unprocessed foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, fish, and olive oil.
So it's not just about what we're eating, it's about what we're not eating.
Precisely. The Western diet often displaces those nutrient-rich whole foods that our brains need to thrive.
Okay, so we've got this dietary showdown. Mediterranean diet versus Western diet. And it seems like the Mediterranean diet is the clear winner when it comes to supporting mental well-being. But let's be realistic. Most of us aren't going to completely overhaul our diets overnight. What are some small practical changes that people can make to start moving in a healthier direction?
Right, you don't have to make drastic changes all at once. Small steps can make a big difference over time. One simple change is to focus on incorporating more whole, unprocessed foods into your diet. Try swapping out a sugary breakfast cereal for a bowl of oatmeal with berries and nuts, or replace that afternoon soda with a glass of water or unsweetened tea.
Those are easy swaps that anyone can make. And it's about being mindful of those processed foods that have crept into our diets, right?
Exactly. Pay attention to food labels and try to choose products with fewer ingredients and less added sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats.
It's about being a savvy consumer and making informed choices about what we're putting into our bodies.
Right. Another simple change is to focus on eating the rainbow. Try to include a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables in your meals.
I love that visual in the rainbow. It's a fun and easy way to remember to get a wide range of nutrients.
It is. And don't forget about those brain-boosting omega-3s. Include fatty fish in your diet at least twice a week, or consider taking a supplement if you're not getting enough from food.
Okay, those are all great tips. But what about those of us who might be struggling with more serious mental health challenges? Is there a role for nutrition in professional mental health care?
That's where the emerging field of nutritional psychiatry comes in. It's a fascinating area that's getting a lot of attention.
Nutritional psychiatry. I've heard the term before, but I'm not entirely sure what it entails. Can you explain what it's all about?
Sure. It recognizes the crucial role of food in mental health care and seeks to integrate dietary interventions into the prevention and treatment of mental disorders. In a way, it's about using food as medicine.
So it's like recognizing that what we eat can have a profound impact on how we feel, not just physically, but mentally as well.
Exactly. One of the most groundbreaking studies in this field is the SMILES trial, which showed that a Mediterranean diet intervention could significantly improve depression symptoms, even leading to remission for some participants.
That's incredible. It really highlights the potential of food to play a therapeutic role in mental health care. Are there any other examples of how nutritional psychiatry is being used in practice?
Well, some psychiatrists are literally prescribing foods as part of their patients' treatment plans. They might recommend specific foods that provide the essential nutrients needed for optimal brain function, such as leafy greens, colorful vegetables, fatty fish, and fermented foods.
It's like giving our brains the building blocks they need to thrive.
It is. And what's interesting is that nutritional psychiatry is not about prescribing a one-size-fits-all diet. It's about personalized nutrition, understanding an individual's needs, and tailoring dietary recommendations to address those needs.
So it's about taking a holistic approach, considering factors like nutrient deficiencies, lifestyle, and any other health conditions.
Exactly. It's about treating the whole person, not just the symptoms.
This is such an exciting field, and it sounds like it holds immense potential for improving mental health care. But I'm curious, are there any critics of this approach?
Of course. As with any emerging field, there are varying opinions. Some argue that more research is needed to fully understand the complex interplay between diet and mental health. Others express concern about the potential for oversimplification, cautioning against viewing food as a cure-all for mental illness.
Those are valid points. It's important to be cautious and avoid making sweeping generalizations. But it seems like the evidence is mounting that nutrition does play a significant role in mental well-being.
Absolutely. And I think the growing interest in nutritional psychiatry is a positive sign. It's encouraging more research and opening up new avenues for both prevention and treatment.
Okay, this deep dive has been packed with information. We've covered everything from the gut-brain connection to the Mediterranean diet to the emerging field of nutritional psychiatry. But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear some specific recommendations for foods that can boost brain power and support mental well-being. What are your top picks for brain-boosting foods?
Well, I'm happy to share some delicious and nutritious recommendations. Let's start with the superstars of the brain-boosting world. Fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout, they're all packed with those omega-3 fatty acids that are essential for brain health. Aim for at least 2 to 3 servings per week if possible.
And for those who don't eat fish, what are some good plant-based sources of those essential omega-3s?
Walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds are all excellent sources of ALA, that plant-based omega-3 that the body can convert to EPA and DHA.
Perfect. So no matter your dietary preferences, there are ways to get those brain-boosting omega-3s. What else should we be adding to our grocery lists?
Next up, we have the leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collard greens, romaine lettuce. They're nutritional powerhouses providing folate iron, vitamin C, and magnesium, all of which play important roles in brain function.
I love adding a big handful of spinach to my smoothies. It's an easy way to sneak in those nutrients.
Absolutely. And they're delicious in salads, soups, and stir-fries. Aim to include leafy greens in your diet most days of the week.
Okay, leafy greens are a must. What else should we prioritize?
Don't forget about the colorful berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, they're bursting with antioxidants that protect the brain from damage.
I love snacking on berries. They're
Yeah.
so sweet and satisfying.
Yeah, they're a great choice. And they've been linked to slower cognitive aging, so they're a smart investment in long-term brain health.
Okay, berries are a must-have. What about nuts and seeds?
Nuts and seeds are nutritional powerhouses, providing a variety of brain-boosting nutrients. Walnuts, in particular, are a great source of omega-3 ALA, vitamin E, and antioxidants. Almonds, cashews, and Brazil nuts provide zinc, magnesium, and selenium minerals that are associated with better mood and cognitive function.
I always keep a container of mixed nuts on hand for a quick and healthy snack. What about those complex carbohydrates that provide our brains with energy?
Whole grains are an excellent source of those complex carbohydrates. Oats, quinoa, brown rice, whole wheat bread, and barley provide steady glucose, which is the brain's primary fuel source. They also provide B vitamins, which are crucial for brain function.
I love starting my day with a bowl of oatmeal. It's so comforting and keeps me feeling energized throughout the morning.
It's a fantastic choice. And when choosing bread or pasta, opt for whole grain varieties whenever possible.
Okay, whole grains are on the menu. What about protein? What are some good sources of protein that support brain health?
Legumes are excellent sources of plant-based protein and fiber, which can help stabilize blood sugar levels and feed the beneficial bacteria in our gut. Lentils, beans, and peas are all great options.
I love adding lentils to soups and stews. They're so hearty and satisfying.
Yeah. And beans are a great addition to salads, tacos, or burritos. We also can't forget about fermented foods, which are essential for a healthy gut microbiome. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kombucha, kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, and tempeh are all great options.
I'm a big fan of yogurt with berries for breakfast. It's a delicious and gut-friendly way to start the day.
It is. And don't be afraid to experiment with other fermented foods. Kimchi and sauerkraut can add a tangy twist to salads and sandwiches, while miso soup is a comforting and flavorful way to warm up on a chilly day.
Okay, fermented foods are a must. What else should we be eating to support our mental well-being?
Don't forget to eat the rainbow when it comes to fruits and vegetables. The more color on your plate, the better. Different colors signify different antioxidants and beneficial compounds, so aim for a variety.
So many great options.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about those flavorful herbs and spices. Turmeric in particular is known for its potent anti-inflammatory properties and may benefit brain health.
I love adding turmeric to my smoothies and curries.
Yeah.
It has such a warm and earthy flavor.
It does. And don't forget about other spices like cinnamon, rosemary, and sage, which are packed with antioxidants.
Okay, herbs and spices are a must. Now, for those who have a sweet tooth, is there any room for indulgence in a brain-boosting diet?
Of course. You can enjoy dark chocolate in moderation. Choose dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa or higher to maximize the benefits and minimize the sugar content.
That's great news. A little dark chocolate is a perfect way to satisfy those sweet cravings while nourishing the brain. Okay, we've covered a lot of specific foods that support brain health. Do you have any final tips or recommendations before we wrap up this segment?
Yeah, absolutely. In addition to making those healthy food choices, remember to maintain a regular eating schedule to avoid those blood sugar dips that can affect mood and concentration. Be mindful of your caffeine and alcohol intake and prioritize regular exercise as it's a natural mood booster. And don't underestimate the power of sleep. When we're sleep deprived, our mood, cognitive function, and overall well-being suffer.
It's amazing how these lifestyle factors, which we often take for granted, can have such a profound impact on our mental health.
They can. And finally, remember to practice mindful eating. Pay attention to your food, savor the flavors, and eat slowly. This can improve digestion and prevent overeating.
These are all fantastic tips.
They are. And if you're struggling with mental health symptoms or have concerns about your diet, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian. They can provide personalized guidance and support to help you optimize your mental well-being through nutrition.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. We don't have to navigate this journey alone.
Exactly. And above all, remember to be patient with yourself. Just as it takes time for unhealthy eating habits to negatively impact our mental health, it also takes time for nutritional improvements to show results. Be consistent with your healthy choices, and you'll start to notice the difference.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. I'm feeling motivated to take charge of my mental health through nutrition and lifestyle changes.
I'm so glad to hear that. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you.
Before we wrap up, let's circle back to something you mentioned earlier, supplements. It's a topic that can be quite confusing with so many options available.
Yeah.
When it comes to mental well-being, are there any supplements that are particularly worth considering?
Well, it's important to remember that supplements should be used to supplement a healthy diet, not replace it. Think of them as filling in the gaps, not making up for an overall poor diet. And it's always best to consult with your doctor before starting any new supplements.
That's a crucial reminder. So assuming someone is already eating a healthy diet, are there any specific supplements that might be beneficial for mental well-being?
Yeah, if you're not getting enough omega-3s from your diet, a fish oil or algae-based DHEPA supplement could be helpful. And if your vitamin D levels are low, which is quite common, your doctor might recommend a supplement to bring them up to a healthy range.
Those make sense given what we've discussed about the importance of omega-3s and vitamin D for brain health. What other supplements are worth considering?
Magnesium is another mineral that's essential for brain function and can have a calming effect. Many people find that magnesium supplements help reduce anxiety and improve sleep quality.
That's interesting. I've definitely heard about magnesium for sleep, but I didn't realize it could also help with anxiety.
Right, it can be quite effective for some people. And another mineral that's gaining attention for its potential role in mental health is zinc. It's crucial for brain function and has been studied for its potential benefits in depression.
Are there any specific food sources of zinc that we should be prioritizing?
Oysters are a great source, as are meat and pumpkin seeds. But some studies suggest that supplementation might be beneficial for those with depression, particularly when used alongside traditional treatment.
So it's like zinc might be another piece of the puzzle when it comes to supporting mental health through nutrition.
Exactly. And we can't forget about the B vitamins, especially if someone has dietary restrictions or absorption issues. A B complex supplement can help ensure they're getting enough of these crucial nutrients.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I'm feeling inspired and hopeful about the power of food to support mental well-being.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, you have the power to make choices that nourish your mind and body.
Before we sign off, I want to remind our listeners that for all things health and fitness, they can visit armygymnastics.com. It's a fantastic resource for expert advice, workout plans, and personalized fitness solutions.
Don't miss out on the tools to help you reach your fitness goals.
And to our amazing listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of nutrition and mental health. Remember, small changes can make a big difference. Start by incorporating one or two of the tips we've discussed today and gradually build from there. You have the power to nourish your mind and body and create a happier, healthier life.
This is just the beginning of your exploration. There's always more to learn, and each choice you make matters.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening. For all things health and fitness, subscribe to our newsletter today. Find out more at armygymnastics.com.